Calaroga Shark Media.
Scrubs, Season 10, Episode 5, My Angel. Original air date, March 18th, 2026. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac, and I was freaking out because I couldn't find the session that I use for the Scrubs episodes. I use the same template every week. You know, it's got the music that you hear fading behind my voice there, and it makes my life a little easier, and I couldn't find it. And the reason I couldn't find it is I have now discovered this session is called Scubs. That's why I wasn't coming up in search. I liked this episode a lot. It was the first of the reboots that my wife and I watched separately. She was doing something earlier and gave me the go-ahead to go watch it. She texted me around 10 o'clock and was like, was Scrubs good? Yes, it was good. I was very enthusiastic about this one. Not the funniest episode of all time, but I really like the character beats and even the newer characters. They're finding their own. The creators are figuring out what this version of Scrubs is. Still not renewed. What is going on there? All right, here's what happens. JD is ready to start dating again. Turk is telling him to get back out there. And JD runs into Lily, who plays harp, in the lobby. They hit it off. The chemistry's booming. JD wants to go for it, and Turk's like, yo, time out. You're the chief of medicine. You can't date employees. Good advice from Turk. Plus, we all know that Dr. Park, played by Joel Kim Booster, whose character is back this week. I like that character. It's kind of poor man's Dr. Cox. He speaks to the interns the same way Cox did, but he also wants to take down JD because JD has the job that Dr. Park wants. So he's a good antagonist. And I've liked Joel Kim Booster since I saw him, I think it was 2015 at New Phases in Montreal. So I like Joel. Anyway, Turk's like, you can't go there. The two have a little bit of chemistry. Turk's saying no. But then Turk finds out she's a volunteer, and there's no rules against dating a volunteer. So he calls JD up and gives JD the green light. JD and Lily are at a date at Lloyd's Tavern. Now, I don't know if it's actually been called Lloyd's Tavern on screen yet. I know in the articles and the interviews, the creators told us that they named it Lloyd's Tavern, but has that actually been said? Maybe I missed it. JD orders an appletini, and Lily tells JD the deal. We're having one drink, and then we're having sex. They go back to her place, and we find out that, I'll describe it the way, did you watch How I Met Your Mother? Barney talked about the hot crazy scale. We find out that Lily is above the line. Lily throws JD onto her bed and asks him to choke her. JD's like, it's a little none, it's not really my thing. He looks to the side of the bed, and he sees a pizza box. And that triggers a flashback. And this is the creators nailing this, understanding what this show is, understanding the characters. The pizza box triggers a flashback to Season 1, Episode 15, My Bed Banter and Beyond. And in Season 1, Episode 15, JD and Elliot are in bed eating pizza. It becomes clear JD's not ready to date again. He's not over Elliot. The voiceover tells us, I was lying here beneath this beautiful woman and I actually felt nothing. Next, we see him riding shotgun in a car. He says, I'm sorry about this. It's just the last time I was with somebody and met something. And after a divorce, I know guys are supposed to go out and hook up like crazy, but I think I need a little time. We find out the person he's apologizing to isn't Lily. It's Turk, who picked him up, as bros do. Code of the guys. If your buddy calls you and goes, I need a ride, don't ask questions. Just do it. Meanwhile, Elliot had her own plot. There's a patient who needs a new liver. Elliot's trying to help her with that. We get into the medicine part of the show. In the end, the new liver arrives, delivered by an organ transplant pilot of some sort, and he happens to be a good-looking fellow. And we see that Elliot thinks he's good-looking, and they walk off together. And who happens to be coming down the hall at that moment? JD. And he sees Elliot being into another dude, and we see that JD looks sad. Just a wonderful, all the emotional beats really good in this episode. As Elliot walks down the hall with the pilot, we hear JD's narration. Only the heart knows when it's ready to let someone in again, but sometimes the heart just needs a little more time to heal. Sarah Chalke was on Michael Rosenbaum's podcast. Fun fact, Michael Rosenbaum was my intern. Now, I haven't seen Michael since he was my intern, but we have a mutual friend, and Michael claims to remember me. I don't know. He was Mike the intern. But here's the thing I always remember about Mike the intern. He was always going to go to Hollywood. He would talk about it when I was like, hey, can you make copies of today's rundown? He was on a mission to go to Hollywood and become an actor, and he did it. So I respect Mike the intern, a.k.a. Michael Rosenbaum, whose guest was Sarah Chalke, who plays Elliot on Scrubs. She talked about the new set and said it was quite surreal stepping onto the set. First of all, stepping onto a set where you spent your entire 20s and then you're stepping on 25 years later, I can't quite explain what that felt like. especially since we shot in this abandoned hospital in the valley and that got torn down. And now they've rebuilt the sets, and we knew that was happening, but we kind of thought, oh, it'll be pretty accurate, like maybe it'll be 60, 70% like the sets were. And they were exactly the same, like to a T. Everything was identical. It felt like this weird kind of time warp because it's the same character, the same people on the exact same set and the writing, and I had kind of thought it was going to take a minute to step back into it. And what was weird was how natural it felt. It's part of your cells, it's part of your bones. That's the Inside of You podcast. I'll have to grab that one. And then this really doesn't have anything to do with Scrubs, but I couldn't get it into the regular podcast during the week. It's been a pretty busy week, so why don't I do it here? Zach Braff has denied he's in a relationship with an AI. Yeah, exactly. This keeps coming up, and Zach now took to Instagram to deny that he is in a relationship with an AI, specifically an AI chatbot, which Zach Braff is not involved with. Apparently, it turned up on one of these gossip websites. Zach said, I had no idea until tonight, because I'm not on TikTok, that these folks were the origin of this. I felt like now is a good time to be kind to the people. You would think that would make it go away, but the denial of a romantic involvement with an AI chatbot has been covered by Cosmopolitan, The Cut, BuzzFeed, People, Just Jared, Entertainment Weekly, Page 6, The Independent, The Wrap, USA Today, The Sun, Hello Magazine, Metro, The New York Daily News, Dextero, The Daily Mirror, Vulture, Gizmodo, and Daily Comedy News. So to be clear, Zach Braff is not dating an AI chatbot. Scrubs, episode 5. I liked it a lot. Back in the morning with a normal episode.